Hey, welcome back for another ballistics gel test. Today we're shooting Hornady LeverEvolution 4570. And specifically, it's the 325 grain FTX load. And we're gonna be shooting those out of one of the new Ruger-made Marlin 1895 trappers. We'll be taking 3 shots from 50 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. All right, let's shoot it. And we are down at the blocks, and I made 3 decent shots. I was worried I might lose that one that hit on the left there, but luckily we captured all 3 bullets, and we got some absolutely wild penetration. First, let's come up, take a look at this first block. There's not a super duper pronounced wound cavity in there. I mean, it's very, very long, but with cartridges like 30-06 that I've tested, usually it's a bit more sort of blown up looking in there. And that makes sense. We're dealing with a cartridge with much, much lower velocity. So let's go on back. We penetrated through the second block, and we captured all 3 bullets way back here in the third block. And I've got the tape measure set up to get penetration, and what's incredible is all 3 bullets hit almost the same exact spot penetration wise. So we're back here, let's take a look, and it looks like we got between 35 and 36 inches for all 3 shots. And just taking an initial look in the gel here, it looks like we did get some expansion, not a whole ton, but there's a little bit there. Man, the sun just came out, so I'm gonna go ahead and dig these out so we can take a closer look and talk about what I think's going on here. And let's go ahead and take a look at those velocities for the Hornady LeverEvolution 4570. Our high was 1,823 feet per second. Our low was 1,799 feet per second, and our average was 1,811 feet per second. And here we're looking at those Hornady LeverEvolution 325 grain FTX bullets out of the 4570. First, we'll go ahead and talk about weight retention. We got an average weight retention of 275 grains, and respectively they were 276, 274, and 274. So very, very consistent weight retention across all 3 bullets for an overall 85% retained weight. And next we'll talk about expansion. So the average expanded diameter was 0.61 inches, and respectively they were 0.602, 0.609, and 0.62 inches. So just like weight retention, very consistent expansion, and overall that is a 1.3x expansion. So not very, violent expansion, but again, I fired these out of a 16-inch barreled 4570. So our velocity, which we'll talk about here in a second, was a little bit lower than you might expect, and no doubt that contributed to the less than catastrophic expansion. And now we'll talk about velocity. The high velocity was 1,823 feet per second. The low was 1,799 for an average of 1,811 feet per second versus a build velocity per the box of 2,000 feet per second. So we did come in quite a bit slow, on average 189 feet per second slow, but again, we were shooting these out of a 16-inch barrel, a very, very short barrel. If you're shooting these out of a 22-inch barreled 1895, something like that, I've no doubt that we'd be a bit closer to that 2,000 feet per second. The spread was nice and tight at only 24 feet per second. And as far as penetration, we got very, very good penetration. Our penetration averaged 36 inches, so 3 whole feet, and penetration was extremely consistent. We got 35 inches, 36 inches, and 36 inches respectively for the 3 bullets. Final thoughts on the Hornady LeverEvolution 325 grain flex tip stuff out of the 4570. It had good weight retention, 85%. It had decent expansion for a 4570. We got 1.3x expansion. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I look for 2x expansion for a medium to large game hunting bullet. That's when we're talking about smaller calibers, 270, 30-06, 338 even. maybe even bigger than that. But once we get into the really big calibers like 45-70, shooting a .458 inch bullet, you can't really expect that type of expansion. It's just not reasonable. So I'm happy with the 1.3x. And remember, we were shooting this out of a 16-inch barreled Marlin 1895 Trapper, which did hinder the velocity. If you were shooting it from a longer barreled rifle, you would get a little bit more velocity and you would probably see a little bit more expansion as well. And then in terms of penetration, I actually really like where this ammo falls. We got 3 feet of penetration. So if you're looking for something that'll really penetrate deep, but not go too deep like that Cellular and Bellet 405 grain stuff that I just did a video on, this LeverEvolution stuff might be the ticket. And then funny thing happened, the day after I filmed the clips of the ballistics gel shots themselves for this LeverEvolution ammo, I got a chance to kill a very large feral hog with this ammo out of that same Marlin 1895 Trapper, and the bullet performed extremely well. The shot was pretty close. It was about 15 to 20 yards. It went through both shoulders, did a massive amount of damage, penetrated completely through, insane blood trail, put the hog down. So I can actually say from firsthand experience, the day after I shot the clips for this video, the stuff works. So if you're looking for a good all-around hunting ammo for the 45-70, this Hornady LeverEvolution stuff might be the ticket. Also, it's one of the few kinds of 45-70 ammo that seems to be more or less readily available, which is even better. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.